Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Bookmas Day 2. In this Bookmas, we are going to talk about all the books I read in the months of October and November. As you have already seen on my thumbnail, I think you would have already guessed that I've read probably 2 to 3 books. In October, I went on vacation and I realized that in this year, I fell into a reading slump every time I'm coming back from vacation or I'm in vacation. So that's what happened in October. I fell off a little bit, and in November, yeah, I don't know what happened in November. I didn't see myself picking up a book as often. I don't know if it's because work was getting a bit too busy, so by the time I finish work, I'm too tired to even read more. Here are all the books that I have read in the months of October and November. In the month of November, I have completed 1 book. I have DNF'd, soft DNF'd 1 book, and I have also carried over a book to the month of November. Let's talk about the book that I have completed in the month of October, and that is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I don't think I finished this book in my 24-hour readathon, but I think I was at least halfway. This was such a good duology. When I finished the first book and read at least halfway through the second book, I immediately knew that this is going to be on my list of all-time favorite books. We are following Elspeth, and she is our main protagonist in this novel, and she is one of the infected. She has to hide the fact that she is infected, otherwise she gets annihilated. She gets executed, and whoever is hiding the fact that Elspeth is infected, they get exiled into the mist and perish there. Elspeth is hiding the fact that she is an infected, however, she does have magic. Any infected have magic, but it comes with a cost. So for her magic, I don't know if it's a spoiler, so her magic has to do with the nightmare. And she has this nightmare in her head telling her what to do. In comes Raven Yu, who is our main male character, and he is the captain. He is also the nephew of the king. And also, he is hiding the fact that he is a highwayman. He works alongside Elspeth as they try to cure the dark magic that's infecting Blunder. So that's essentially the first book, One Dark Window, of this duology. Now let's talk about Two Twisted Crowns. I'm not going to talk about the synopsis, but I'm going to say how I feel about this book. I finished this book in less than a week, I think, and that is a big feat for me because, as you can see in this video, I've only completed 1 book in the month of October. So the fact that I was able to finish this within a week says a lot. This was so good. So the first book has more of the fantasy elements in it and less of the romance. Now this one has a bit more romance than the first. The transition between the first book to the second book in terms of the romance was very gradual and very natural without losing the fantasy elements in this whole story. So I really appreciated that, and the fact that this one had multiple POV that we can read, but I think the first book only shows Elspeth's point of view. I think between the first and second book, I prefer the second book a smidge more than the first book, mainly because the story wrapped up beautifully at the end. And we get to see all these character growth from all of our characters in the second book. And I think it also helps that we got to read the point of view of all these different characters. I highly recommend reading this duology. I find that it's pretty beginner friendly for those that want to get into fantasy. Even though this is a romantasy, I think that helps with the transition if you are a romance reader to go from being a romance reader, and if you want to try reading fantasy, this would be a very good option. The magic system in this is very easy to follow while being very interesting, at least for me. I highly recommend reading the Shepherd King duology. I can see the hype around this duology. Next, we're going to talk about the book that I soft DNF'd in the month of October, and that is 1,000 Acres by Jane Smiley. So the reason why I am soft DNFing this book is because I think I picked up this book at the wrong time. Picking up a book that is out of my comfort zone And going into a reading slump was not the smartest choice, but that is why I am softy enoughing it. I do want to try it in the upcoming year. Although I didn't make it to the 100-page mark, I think I have some stuff that I can say about it. So the best way I can describe this book is that it is a retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear. But if you haven't read it, from what I have read so far, I didn't hit the 100-page mark. So what I have read so far and what I have, I guess, digested because I was falling into a reading slump, we are following this family and they own an acre of land. In this family, the father, I think, is going to sell his land. In this family, there are 3 sisters, and one of them is a lawyer. I think she is the youngest in the family. The father and the youngest of the siblings are not getting along. He, I believe, does not include her in the inheritance that he's going to give to his daughters. So that's all I remember from the book. Initially, before going into the book, I thought this book was going to be very hard to read and very flowery. But surprisingly, it was very easy to read and follow along. So that is the book that I have soft DNF'd in the month of October. The last book that I have read in the month of October that carried over to November was Mate by Ali Hazelwood. So if we were to talk about 1,000 Acres by Jane Smiley, I was not in the mood to read a literary fiction at the moment. But I was itching to read Mate, especially during the spooky season. So that is why I soft DNF'd 1,000 Acres and picked up Mate near the end of October. I'm not going to say too much about the synopsis because this is an interconnected standalone series from Bride by Ali Hazelwood. In Bride, we follow our female main character, Misery. So in Mate, we are following Misery's best friend and sister, Serena. So I'm not going to say what she is because that's going to spoil a little bit of Bride. So we're just following Serena. And my thoughts on the book, I feel like a lot of people really preferred Mate over Bride. But I don't know, for me, I felt like I preferred Bride over Mate. And I feel like I should have read Bride again before reading Mate, because while I was reading Mate, some names kind of clicked, but some names I'm second guessing who this character is. At first, I didn't even know who Serena was until I went back to read the synopsis of Bride to figure out that Serena is actually Misery's best friend and sister. So overall, I did enjoy reading the book. However, I think I preferred Bride just a bit more. So I did enjoy the romance between Serena and our main male character, Cohen. But I don't know, there's something about Cohen that didn't really sit right with me. His insults to either vampires or humans, or if he's trying to make fun of his fellow werewolves, they weren't funny to me. He was trying a little too hard. I don't know, that's probably a unpopular opinion. Maybe if I had reread Bride before reading Mate, maybe it would hit harder. I think I'm good with a 3.75. In the month of November, I have completed 1 book and transitioning a book into December. To no surprise, the book that I have completed in the month of November is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And the book that I am transitioning into December, also no surprise if you have watched Bookmas Day 1, it's Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Since filming Bookmas Day 1, which was yesterday, I did not even touch this book. So to no surprise, this is for sure going to be in my December TBR. So these are the books that I have read in the months of October and November. Actually, these are the books that I have completed in the months of October and November, including Mate. This is the book that I am transitioning into December. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching Bookmas Day 2, and I will see you all in Bookmas Day 3. Bye!